Salsa. Salsa is the key of a bowl of nachos. It defines its flavor, its spiciness, and also its richness. Today, we would like to proudly present you our salsa strategy. It leverages on the capability of FAYC to develop a financial sustainable business model to achieve different goals. To start with, we would like to take a look at the situation and also further go on to the details of the strategy. The key challenges. Currently, FAYC is generating the revenue mainly from the government fund and also foundation fund. Less than 10% of the revenue is generated from the operation. It actually limits the ability when they try to expand their services to other areas. Moreover, although their services is not very volunteer intensive, the lack of infrastructure on the volunteer area hindered the development and also the planning on that area. Before we jump into taking a look at how the recommendation can help with those challenges, we also would like to take a look at the capabilities and also the limitations of FAYC. Having serving the youth in the DC area for many years, FAYC developed very strong and specialized ability in having the youth in the area. Its reputation and also ability can definitely take the organization to another level. And here is how the salsa strategy comes into place. There are two areas of the salsa strategy. The first part is to develop the impactful consulting into a strategic advisory line, which specializes on two key areas. The first is to provide customized internal training, and secondly is to provide technical program evaluation. Those two areas is built on the capability of their PYD program and also the experience on using ETO. The second part of our recommendation is to provide a streamlined mission for the volunteer program. We would like to separate our volunteer into the organizations so as to collect data and also plan for that particular area. And here is our first strategy.
So now we will start with talking about the sales strategy, and that is our consulting line. So we have identified that staff quality and the quality of the program is the key to the youth serving organization's success. So PYD, which helps with training program and increases staff quality, and ETO, which delivers an evaluation program which can improve the program's quality, together will form our impactful consulting branch. Well, why would we implement such a consulting branch? Because we have identified that there is such a need. Firstly, there is a very large potential market. In the DMV district area, there are around 4,000 youth-serving organizations which can become our potential clients. And secondly, we can see from all these NGOs that they have a very high demand for customized programs and also high-quality youth workers. Being given three choices, licensed, customized, and CEU PYD, we have considered four most important criteria and come up with our final option. Licensed PYD is not our option because it is actually a very direct competition with our competitor, and CEU is also not a feasible option because it does not create a credible and widely accepted curriculum. So customized PYD is our final choice because it best links with our own competitive advantage, that is our customized training, and in this strategy, it will face the least competition with our competitors, and it brings the most impact because of the customization element. So now we can look at how PYD and ETO will link together. If we look at this four-step framework, we first start with the investigation process, where we will conduct primary and secondary research to fully understand the organization's culture, values, and different program needs. Under the PYD, there will be a design-tailored program where we will conduct customized training session, and under the ETO, there will be a customized matrix, so we will help them implement through data collection and analysis. And through all these 3 steps afterwards, we will have a very comprehensive understanding towards all their activities, programs, and strategies. And together, they form a synergy because we can come up with the most comprehensive recommendations to our clients. So based on the framework we talked about, so firstly, we want to identify who needs our service. So basically, based on 2 criteria. Firstly is the business similarity, which means the organization, they have similar programs as us. The secondly is about the age group similarity, which means they also serve like people from 17 to 24 years old. So we can identify that, for example, LSF and Identity have similar programs and in this position. So now we're going to visualize how our service can help the organizations to do all this process. So for example, when LSF approaching us to have the consulting project, the first thing we're going to do is investigation. So we're going to talk to the senior management, volunteers, staffs, and try to know what's their key problems. And we can identify that there is a low retention rate for the volunteers as well as the staff is not really engaged. So we came up to design the programs according to the PYD and ETO and try to know the needs of the youth. And through that, after that, we implemented this. We through like networking sessions, like training sessions, and try to get more feedback from the youth. And finally, we came up with our recommendations because we try to know, okay, probably the reason is because there is a matching system problem, and all the volunteers and the students, they don't really share the common interests or common ground of it. So we are proposing our one-on-one tutoring programs and try to tackle this specific problem. So after that, another key issue is how we're going to price it. So basically, there are 2 parts. The first part is about the baseline expense. So we calculate the estimated hours in each steps, and we came up with the expenses at each stages of the consulting projects. For example, because investigation involves lower hours, so that means we charge like around $700, while we charge $6,100 for the implementation part. So apart from the baseline, we also charge a premium for the markup, because we are able to do that because we provide customized service as well as we don't really have competitors. So this will enable us to achieve the financial sustainability by reducing the reliance on the government grants. So another key issue is that how our human resources can help this to solve this problem. So we can see the demand increases stably. So we estimated that like in 5 years' time, there are going to be 32 trainers needed. So our supply gonna definitely meet this demand because we have the 2 steps. The first step is about the training courses. Like we hold this training course once a year with 12 people engaged per year. And when there is a request from the clients, there are 3 existing trainers as well as the people who pass the training course. They can contribute at least 5 hours so that they can become the new trainers. That means in 5 years' time, there are going to be 74 trainers in total, which can meet the demands.
So now it comes to the streamline admission of volunteering program. So first of all, we have to make sure that why we need this system. We know that currently the company actually gets sufficient volunteers for both one-off and non-one-off positions. Also at the same time for long-term development, which we just presented to you, the sales strategy, which mainly require a full-time employee to input their experience and expertise to help the company long-term development. That means that we are now not having the immediate needs for recruiting extra volunteers or matching their needs and desire. So why we are still going for this system? We go for this system because we know that this helps in long-term development, better manage tracking data, manage and matching the needs of both volunteers and also the company needs. And therefore, we decide to invest the minimal efforts by outsourcing this to some software developers to develop a portal system for us. This portal system is equipped with the simplest interaction and basic functions that helps to receive application, matching their needs and desires, and also arrange schedule different trainings. And you could see that as an applicant interface and also staff interface, it's very simple interface that helps you to enroll in the program, or also if you are staff to open an application on the portal, so allow applicants to apply for it. And this, given with the limited resources, we have to choose the limited efforts to put into this strategy. And these are our sales strategy.
For your presentation. We'll now transition to the 10-minute Q&A session.
One question on your slide 12. So because your clients are also nonprofits and you guys are a nonprofit, how, when you're justifying your costs to these people who have such limited budgets, how do you justify the $15,000 profit you're generating per engagement?
Yeah, I can try on that. First of all, we think that we try to calculate the cost by the baseline first. So we definitely already know the cost to implement or to conduct one consulting project. But to respond to your questions on how can we justify the markup, so we think the way we justify it is because after generating this profit, we are not going to use it for self-interest because we are also a non-profit. So what we're trying to do is basically invest this amount of money into other area by using our capabilities. So first of all, we don't see a contradiction in charging a profit or charging a premium over the cost. And secondly, the reason that we think there should be a markup because the service that we're providing is quite unique. So no other people in the market is trying to provide that. So in that sense, customers have relatively low bargaining power towards us, and it's a great way for us to generate revenue in order to cover some of our expenses in other programs. So that would be our explanation. I hope that answers your questions. Yeah.
Following up on that, is this just a one-size implementation model that can be applied to every organization, regardless of their complexity of operations or the size of their operations? Or would it make sense to have multi-tier delivery model depending on, I don't know, the complexity, size of the organization? As indicated in the previous question, a lot of the small non-for-profit organizations, it would be very difficult for them to find funding of $26,000 to apply this model.
Well, for this question, actually we have made an estimation together with the manpower projection for this. And regarding to the first question about will we have different, based on the organization that approach us, based on their size or complexity that they need, will we change our charging? Actually, we could say that the whole PYD program is quite a standardized procedures, though we are trying to customize the training program. But what we are trying to customize is the content of the training program. But still, we are going through a standardized procedures that we have estimated for the hours that we need in different procedures, and also for interview, getting to know their company, needs, and also company cultures. And also, we have estimated that because for every PYD programs, it only allows 3 trainers for us to help to train up 12 to 15 employees from that organization as one cohort. And actually, based on the different company, different organization size, we are trying to charge extra premium on the coming out cohort. That means if they engage in the first cohort training, we charge with the price that we just showed in the presentation, and then afterwards, with every cohort they take out, we will charge a lower price, which we could show here. That actually for the first cohort is about $16,000, and for the coming cohorts, that for extra cohorts, we are charging half for the prices. That for them to, if they get a large organization size and they really engage into PYD programs, we will charge a much cheaper price for the coming afterwards cohorts.
Thank you. With such a high price as well, how are you going to get your first set of clients before your program has established credibility to justify the price?
Well, for this question, actually, we have estimated about for the price that we charge, why we are charging this premium, because we also compare with a similar organization, DC Trust, what they provide for a standardized program, what they charge, and we are actually about for every hours of training, we are about like 50% to 60% above them. But why we are confident with that charging? Because as we in our presentation, we have made that we are the only organization that providing some customized training, and also we incorporate our ETO expertise in it to help to solving like leveraging both sides of data that helps them no matter in training, but at the same time to evaluate their program to see how their programs can fit with the staff training to seek for synergies. And that's why this makes us to be very confident to charge for such a premium price. And regarding to the second question about how we are confident to get our first clients, as we have identified here, most of the organization in that boxes, we are trying to identify some similar size organization and also providing similar activities. And actually, when we try to investigate in those organizations, we also compare with our own expenses. For example, our own expenses for professional and consulting service in last year is over $1 million US. And therefore, we expect that spending a small portion on this staff training, they are really capable for spending such an amount in having much better consultancy service in order to help them to improve their programs. Thank you.
With your volunteer infrastructure, did you guys do any sort of projections on the cost that it might involve to create this LAYC portal?
Yes, regarding to the cost breakdown, actually you can see that it's a very simple breakdown because as I mentioned in the presentation, we are trying to outsource the whole program. We just want the simplest portal system that could help in for open for application and also to match the needs. Say our company to open needs for the certain volunteer position that match with the applicants their needs. So this kind of basic portal system without any communication between the users in the system, we have a reference from some system developing companies and try to reference from their charging price by different user accounts. We estimate about, you can see that this 220 to 200 to 80%, that means that it incorporates 180 of our current employee in LAYC and also about 40 to 100 volunteers per year that given in the case. So we try to estimate about what our initial cost for setting up such a system, and after that also the training cost for giving to our HR colleagues, and afterwards there is a maintenance cost and also management of user account. That's kind of, we project that for every years afterwards there may be some of the staff turnover and also some more applicants that are applying to the program, and therefore we has estimate about 80 more user account will be used using this portal program, and we charge, and we also calculate the charges on it, how's the expense. Thank you.
So is PYD your only diversification strategy to move away from the government dependency on the federal government and local governments?
Sorry, can I have your question again?
One of the issues this organization has is the over-dependency in government funding. So as your diversification strategy, is PYD the only strategy to diversify going forward, to minimize your dependency on government funding?
Well, thank you for your question. Well, we would say that PYD is not our only option because, as demonstrated in this slide, PYD and ETO is sort of bundled together as a impactful consulting service. So why are we doing these two together? Because we think that if we're just implementing PYD, we actually have to go through a lot of investigation process. So it actually is very similar to what the ETO needs in the investigation process, so it provides a synergy. And when these two programs are being put together, implemented together, through the ETO we can assess and examine how well their current programs are doing. And by doing so, we understand the core values and core needs for their training programs towards their employees. So when they are both bundled together, then this would give us the most comprehensive solutions to our clients. So PYD is not the only option Thank you.
But you mentioned that they were bundled, so that could you obtain revenue from ETO and not PYD? Or would it always be under the same framework?
I would say when we develop the impact consulting, the whole idea is like to provide a comprehensive consulting service. Because when we think about the success, it's basically the only two inputs is the staff.
That concludes our 10-minute Q&A session. So we'll now transition to the conclusion and final comments.
So can I start? Sorry, can I start now?
You can proceed with your conclusion.
Alright, okay. So by investigating into LAYC, this company, actually we find out that we have to understand the company is of high capability of becoming a self-sustainable company with a long history, with the high reputation in helping youth, and also with the experience and expertise in different youth serving programs. Also a diverse of programs, no matter in tutoring, in homeless assistance, and different kind of service. This kind of experience shaped LAYC as a very capable company, and also its employee with different specialized skills like utilizing the ETO software to help evaluating the program. Actually, the company get a very high capability to become self-sustainable. But what is missing now is a concrete business model and business plan. How could it generate revenue based on its capability? And therefore, we have suggested today the sales strategy that aims to, of course, become a self-sustainable company, and also to free up 2.3 million free cash in the 5th year plan. And also in the 5th year plan, the strategy accounts for 20% of total revenue of the company. And how it works is that sales strategy is already the bridge that helps to push the company from its high capability to become really generating revenue. And that makes up of two parts that we have made up in our presentation. First, the strategic advisory line, which means that the PYD, ETO, these two very specialized skills and programs that we are using, and also one of which we have not much touch in with the best practice replication units, because according to Cecilia from LAYC, that's already an ongoing project with pilot schemes, and we will talk about that in implementation timeline, how it works with the PTO and the PYD and ETO. Then this hold together the sales strategy, try to diversify the revenue stream, while the other part, the streamline admission, helps to have a better management for the daily operation, helps supporting the volunteering process to support different kind of volunteer service and service provided by LAYC. Together, the sales strategy achieve the financial needs, the financial goals that we have mentioned. And more importantly, it would be how sales strategy goes on to keep generating this kind of revenue.
So now we look at the implementation plan, to look at the big picture. If we look at the green part, it is the sales strategy. So in the coming first year, we will select 2 NGOs for our target and do a pilot scheme so that we can understand what implementation, adjustment, and improvements we can do, and then we will further implement it. And we haven't forgot about the best practice replication unit, because we know that they're doing very well in the pilot scheme. So we will now spend half more year to further pilot this promoter pathway scheme, and then we will continue to implement this. But we will set up a national network unit. We haven't talked about the details yet because this is not the core issue, but then this will be where we can identify our operational and strategic solutions to where our next states would be to further replicate our program, so that we can further explore the next program to be replicated. And for the red part, it would be the volunteer infrastructure. As we have talked about, we are now actually very urgent to start this volunteer infrastructure streamlining. So we will, in this half year, we will first find a system developer that best fits with our company, and then we will try to implement it with according with some trainings to our internal staff so that they know how to use it, and then we will implement it in the second half of this year, starting from the second half of this year. So now as a conclusion, we have talked about how sales strategy leads to financial sustainability, as this is the core issue in this case. But we want to tell you that this is not the only thing that we can achieve through the sales strategy. First, we can attain a multiplying effect because we are not only grooming our own youth under our organization, we are training the staff from other organizations so that there's a multiplying effect when we do one program that we are already, when we are doing one training program, then we're already helping a lot of youth in our client's organization. And more importantly, there's also another benefit is that it actually gives an exclusive career path to the underprivileged youth. Why would we say that? It's because we understand that 1/3 of the youth that we help will actually come back to become our employees. So under our internal grooming, they will further become trainers, and then because of the PYD programs and consulting programs they help implement for our firm, then they will become consultants themselves.
Thank you, team 4.3. That will conclude our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.